Okay, good evening, everyone. It is awesome to be here tonight. And we're going to be going and doing some training on 2.0. We'll get back on our split schedule next week, but there's been a lot going on this week and a lot of information flying in the group. And I can see just a little bit of confusion in 2.0. So we are going to spend a lot of time on the 2.0 design side. The other side where you just point and click, I think you've got that down pretty well. I don't think you need to be taught how to open a box, fill in some text, and click save. I think where the confusion comes in is on the left side where you're putting the colors together, your logos together, and that kind of stuff. So we're going to clarify some things tonight, and we've got the live chat box open, and I know a lot of people are going to the live chat box and posting in there. I see Will Sims posting in there and David Craiglow posting, and I'm sure everybody else will be popping in here in just any moment and doing their thing. But Okay, I think we are back here. Boy, that was weird. The whole system just completely shut down. It has said it lost its authentication, but I think we are back. I'm going to restart. See if we can't get that back live. And that's back up. So we're back on, and it looks like everything's back like it's supposed to be. But so if you have not joined our YouTube channel, join our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Instant App Wizard. I've got the chat box back open live, and we got everything rolling here. So looks like everything's back like it's supposed to be. And you guys will see my screen here in just a moment. And if you haven't liked us on our Facebook page, like us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Instant App Wizard. That's not our group. That is our Facebook page. So you'll want to do that. Like us on our Facebook page. And if you have not signed up for our text messages, get our text messages at 727-478-1343. Type app call, APPCALL, app call, APPCALL to 727-478-1343. And if you have not joined our Facebook group, that is where it happens. There is so much great information that comes into the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Instant App Wizard. A lot of great suggestions, a lot of great ideas, a lot of great help. And it is so awesome. And so you've got to be a member of Facebook in order to be a part of that Facebook group. We're going to go into 2.0 tonight and some of the styles and colors, and we're going to go through some things that I think confuses people. I think the biggest reason it confuses people is because we're afraid to touch it. And when someone calls me and says, you know, Kerry, I'm not familiar with 2.0 and I don't know how to do it. And then I say, okay, well, have you built an app yet? And the first answer is no. You're never going to learn anything unless you do it. I mean, think about back when you used to ride a bicycle. Someone put you on that bicycle and you rode and you drove and you fell off and you rode and you drove and you fell off and you rode and you drove. And guess what eventually happened? You don't even realize it, and you're turning those pedals and you're going down the sidewalk and you look back and your mom and dad standing there and you think, wow, man, look at me. And you never fall off again unless you're trying to jump the house or something. But you don't have any problems after that. And so it's really, really crazy and how that works. 2.0 is the same way. You need to get on the bicycle. You need to start pedaling, and you need to never look back again. And once you do that, you won't have any problems. I can guarantee it. It's not going to happen. And if you don't try it, you're sure not ever going to know what's going on. So I'm going to bring up the 2.0 system. Let me change the screen share here. And I've got that up there. Now, I've already came in and I've already built the app here. I've already put some information in so that we've got our layout already done. We've got our call us and share web app, and we got all this stuff. And the first thing I'm going to show you is how to turn things off. One of the questions this morning has what? Let me see. I'm trying to phrase this. One of the questions this morning was, how do you turn off the chat system? I mean, the texting system if you're selling it. And that's the share web app feature that they were asking about. You know, how do you turn this off? The text messaging and the email. Now, you can't turn one or the other off. If you turn them off, you're going to turn them both off. So the first thing I want to show you is if you want to delete anything off the canvas, okay? If you want to delete any buttons away and you don't want them to show up, just go into content, go into home page. And if you want to turn off the share web app, just go to share web app and click no, and it goes away. Now, if you're selling that feature and they don't buy it, don't turn it on, turn it off. Okay? It's always on until you turn it off. So if you're selling that and you're building the app, then turn it off. Now, what you may want to do, and this is just me thinking out loud, is show it to them, okay? Go in there and say, okay, this is what it looks like, blah, blah, blah. This is how it works. Are you interested in that? And if they say no, say, okay, well, we'll turn that off, okay? And so you turn it off, and then it's gone. What happens is when you take something away from somebody or they know you're going to take it away, it pushes them a little bit closer to buying. And that's what we want to do. We want to push them to buying. We want them to buy. And we want to make sure that they buy. And we want to make sure that everything we do is what? Selling. So what you want to do is if you're selling it, excuse me, if you're selling it and they bought it, say yes, and it puts it back on. If they don't want it, say no, and it takes it off. Here's another question that is frequently asked. If you can see the arrows over here on the side of anything, that means you can move it, okay? If you're not doing the button bars, which I'm going to do a button bar, so I'm going to be turning a lot of this stuff off in a minute. You can move this around. You want to join our list on the bottom. You want the address and maps below the call us. You want the share. You want the share web app. You want the vCard. Whatever you want. If it's got an arrow over here to the left, you can move this around. Now, this is what I recommend you doing. Before you come over here to the settings section, do everything in the content section first. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're not going to have anything to see or look at or be able to use to judge what your app's going to look like. So what you want to do is you want to get your app, all the content in place first. That way everything is done, and now you've got everything set up, including your what? Social media links. So get it all done, okay? Get everything done. Once you do that, once you put these buttons where you want them, and I was just telling you, I'm going to turn some of these off. I'm going to turn off the share feature. That's Facebook share, okay? Because I'm going to put that on a button bar. I'm going to turn off call us. I'm going to turn off email us. I'm going to put join our list on the top, okay? Then I'm going to put our contact us button, our addresses and maps, share web app, and vCard. Now, I've got my canvas, and I call it my canvas because that's what it is. I've got my canvas set up. So now that I've got everything in place and everything filled in, and I've went in and I've done everything I want to do, okay? And I get asked so many times, Kerry, what is on your mobile business card? What is on your digital business card? You see it right here. This is the information I put on here tonight. What's on the mobile business card? Okay? Any questions so far? Please feel free. Still can't get viral. Let me see what Will Sims is saying here. Still can't get converted apps. Get viral text on converted apps. Did you send Mark a message on that, Will? I hope so. I mean, there's got to be something there that he can take a look at, and send him the information on the app that you're trying to do. Okay? Send him the information on the app that you're trying to do. I've converted several of them, and I've not had any problem. Now, what you may want to do, let me just give you this suggestion. Go in and re-enter the phone number or the email. Just see if you can go in and re-enter some information, but make sure you let Mark know about that. Okay, so I've turned that stuff off and I've got these in the order I want them in, and I'm going to click save. Okay, I'm going to click save. Over here to my settings section. It's just like anything else. When I'm on the phone with people, this is what I see them do. They'll start down here somewhere. Always start at the top. Check your title and description. Okay? If you're going to put your SEO information in here, put your SEO information in there, save it, and move on. That's done. Home screen icon. Upload your home screen icon. Have it made. Okay? And I'm going to upload the home screen icon. Okay? And I've got that done. Once that's done, I'm done. I don't have to worry about that anymore. All right? Now let's go to the header. If you don't get this stuff set up correctly, what's going to happen is you're going to go back to your app and things are going to be out of whack and you're going to get what I call discombobulated, okay, because you've missed some steps. If you have to fill out, and honestly, I used to do this when I first started building apps. Now I don't have to do it anymore, but it's kind of like walking and chewing gum. I would have a checklist. Okay, my settings here, I want to make sure is the content on top of content or top of screen. Okay, top of content means that this is going to stay. Top of screen, you can see it roll. Okay, top of content, see the title bar move. Okay, everything moves. Top of screen means that your logo and everything's going to stay and it's going to roll underneath it. Let me go ahead and put a logo in there so you can see that better. So I don't use a title bar. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my title bar. What you do is it says show title bar on all pages, only the home page, only sub pages, or none. Okay? Me personally, you can leave it on if you want. I turn it off. So I don't have it at all. I'm going to save that. The next thing I do, I go in, I upload what? I upload my image and my header. And there's my logo image. Okay. If you want, you can do it on all pages or whatever you're going to do. Okay. If you don't want it on all pages, put it on none. Okay. Tab bar. If you want to put a tab bar on, put a tab bar on. I don't use a tab bar on the top. I use a button bar. So after I've got my image on, now I'm going to go to the button bar and I'm going to select what buttons I want. And the buttons that I turned off earlier, okay, the buttons that I turned off earlier is what I'm going to use. I'm going to use what? I'm going to use click to call. I'm going to add another link. I'm going to add email. And I'm going to add share. And this is your Facebook share. Okay. Now, you see I've got my header set up. You see how the header is moving there? Let me show you what it looks like when you put it on top of screen. The header doesn't move. Everything moves underneath the header. I leave mine top of content. And there's not a lot of scrolling when I build these apps, so you don't really have to worry about that. So I use the button bar, okay? And I've got my buttons laid out. Now, you notice I've gone right down the screen. Title and description, home screen icon, I've got that done. Now I've got my header laid out, and I'm done with that. Okay. Now we're going to go to footer. I'm going to do a couple of things on the footer. I'm going to change. I'm not going to have a tab bar any longer. I mean, a title bar any longer. I'm going to turn the title bar off. I used to use the title bar, but what I'm using now is what? The tab bar. So I'm going to put home page, add, and I add a new link, previous page. I'm going to take the page off because it's just too long. I don't like it. You can make it whatever you want. Okay. So now you see I've got home and previous. If you use the title bar, it does just that. Okay. It shows the name of the business. I took that off. I changed that out for a reason. Sometimes your businesses have really long names and it's hard to make that look good. So what I've done is I've just turned it off. All right. And I'm using the tab bar now. And it just looks better. It looks cleaner. And you don't have to worry about anything down there. Okay. So we don't have a button bar. We got a title bar. One thing I want to show you real quick. The tab bar, you hear that all the time. Your tab bar is what controls your colors. Let me save that. Your tab bar is what controls your colors on your addresses and maps. So when you come up here and you got your tab bar on your addresses and maps, and I don't have an address in there, that's where you change your colors. Okay. So just remember, if you want to change your tab bar, hey, Michael Cahill, how you doing, my friend? Long time no see. If you want to change the colors on your tab bar for your addresses and maps, you have to do it under the header tab bar, okay, under the color section. I just want to point that out. I know a lot of people ask that question. So now we're going to come down here. I do not use slide menu. I do not use page transition. These are just some fancy effects, okay? You can make the pages do anything. Fade in, pop in, flip in, turn in, flow in, slide, fade, slide up, slide down. I do not use any of that, okay? But let me say, play with it. Don't be afraid of it. Turn it on, see what it looks like on your app. You may find something really cool that you didn't know about. It's like up here in the header, I can come up here under my image and I can make my image do different things. I'm going to add another image just to show you, and I'm going to add the same image, okay? I'm going to put the exact same image, and I'm going to add that. Okay, now image settings, I can do some transitions. Okay, watch this. Fade, stair step. Okay, I can make it flutter wind. Do some really, really cool stuff. This is one of my favorites right here, 4 squares. I'm going to put it on a couple of seconds so it'll change faster. See it come in? You see it come in 4 squares. I love that. I love motion boxes. Motion boxes is really, really cool. See the boxes flying in? If it was 2 different images, you could see it a little bit better. Okay? Switch. These are really cool transitions that you can do some really cool stuff with the header images. Let me tell you what we're doing with it, and it's really blowing people away. We're putting the second image as a coupon, okay? And we're using the motion boxes for the coupon when we put the coupon on there. When the coupon, I hear you, buddy. Mike Cahill says he's out grabbing business while y'all busy in Facebook. he's out making money while y'all chit-chatting. But I use the motion boxes with the excuse me, the coupons. And let me tell you, when people see that, they are freaking out. It is just absolutely amazing what they do with that and how much they love that. And it is really, really doing well. So don't be afraid to play with this. Now, you have to have 2 images in order to have the motion transitions. Okay? But just play with that. You can set the duration. I usually set mine around 5 or 6 seconds. Anything any longer, someone's not going to be on the page that long, and you want that to catch their attention, especially if you're using a coupon. Okay? 4 seconds even. I mean, think about it. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. That's a long time to be looking at something. 1001, 1002. You want to grab their attention, and the motion transitions really do that. I make my header images 500 by 250. It's a nice size. I build them all myself. Okay, I make them 500 by 250. Now, sometimes you may have to play with it a little bit if you're just taking an image and resizing it down. I start with a 500 by 250 canvas. Okay, behind this right here, behind Riley's Reef, 72 pixels. It's a website. You don't have to use web quality graphics. You don't have to go 300 pixels and high quality and all that. You want it to load quick. So 72 pixels JPEG is usually the best. I use PNG files, but I also make sure that the PNG size is small. So I send it through a converter and make sure that the PNG size is small. It doesn't have to be high resolution. Okay? Doesn't have to be high resolution. All right. So we've got our image set up. All right. And we've got our everything loaded. We've got our button bar loaded. We've got our tab bar. We've got our footer bar ready to go. Now, after I color mine, okay, after I set my colors, I do away with my bottom bar on the home page. Okay. It takes up room. They're already on the home page and they're not going previous anywhere. So there's really no reason to have that. Okay. So now we go to the next thing. We're not going to mess with the slide menu. I don't use a slide menu on a business card. On a more robust app, you will start using the slide menu and you will have things over here that for them to go to. But I do not use a slide menu on a business card. Page transitions, we went through that. I use none. Save to home screen triangle. I put this on every single app. The reason I do that is this save to home screen triangle, this bookmark triangle, what that does is that recognizes the phone that they're on and tells them how to save it on the phone that they're on. If I've had one call over the last 3 years, I've had a million saying, I've got this such and such phone and I don't know how to save it. Well, guess what? I don't either. I'm not a phone expert. And there's so many phones out there, and actually the same phone, the same kind of phone can do 2 different things. So I always have the home screen triangle, the bookmark triangle turned on. Any questions about these things right here? And I'm going to keep talking until I see some questions, about a minute and a half. Any questions on the things that I've showed you right here? I don't want to go into styles and colors. If you have a question on footer, header, home screen icon. Is there any questions at all about any of these things? Now, if you'll notice on this home screen icon, I did a transparent background, and I do that a lot. Okay, you don't see the square box. Now, this is a square box, okay, but the square box is transparent. But I want to make sure if there's any questions at all about home screen icon, header, footer, saved home screen, page transitions, any of these things right here. These are pretty simple. I think everybody can pretty much get past that. Any questions at all? Nobody's asking anything. I can take it that I can move on. Can you simply turn off slide menu? If you don't have anything in it, it's off. I don't use it at all. You turn off slide menu by not having it down there. You put that in the header. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like title bar, or let's say here your tab bar, you add that, okay? You add that, slide menu. So if you don't add it, you never have it. Don't put it in there if you don't want it. That's how you turn it off. Don't use it. Controls the address colors. It's the header. The header tab bar controls the colors, and I'll get to that just in a second, down here in the styles and colors. The header tab bar controls the colors on the address. Let this come up here. Okay, so we've got everything done here. We've got everything loading up. All right. Now we've got our, this is our app. This is where we're going to come in right here. I use advanced features. Okay. I use advanced features. And the exact same thing applies. Don't come down here and start on the bottom, with the exception of this. If I'm doing something other than white on the background, I will come in and I will set my background. No, it doesn't add it by default. That's not correct. You don't add it because you did not add it to the header or the footer bar. I mean, if like here, okay, my title bar right here, I don't have it turned on. If I have that on, okay, right there, the title bar, okay, it's going to be there. I don't use the title bar, okay? Now, if I want my left button to be, my right button to be something other than slide menu, then I can make it previous page. It doesn't have to say menu. Okay, so you change it to whatever you want it to be. Make it home page. I don't know if that makes sense. But I don't use a title bar. I turn it completely off. And the reason I don't is it takes up too much space. I want my 4 or 5 buttons to be seen. And if I've got it on the bottom down here, why do I need it on the top? Now, there are instances on a more robust app where you're going to use the title bar, okay, and you're going to want maybe the right button to be slide menu, okay, or whatever. You can make it whatever you want. I turn it. Or you can go up here and you turn the buttons off. Or you turn the buttons on. Or you can have it say text only. Or you can have text and an icon. Okay? I prefer. All right? Did that answer your question, David? Okay, let's go back down to styles and colors. Now, if I want to change the background immediately, I'm going to change the background immediately, okay? Because I want to know what I'm working with. For instance, this here, if I wanted to come in and I wanted to upload my background, okay, and upload my background, then I've got my background loaded, all right, and now I can work with that. If you're not using a background and you're just using a color, you want to know what your canvas is going to look like because you're going to want to know what your buttons look like. So the one thing I do that I don't start with first is the background. I set that first, okay? It's not up at the top. It's at the last thing you do. I set the background first. Okay, so in this instance, let's use a custom background. I'm going to upload the image. The image size I use is 1200. Oops, wrong thing. 1200 by 1600. Now, and sometimes I play with that depending on what I'm doing, but that's the normal size. And if I've got an image that's overlaid on that I want to be centered, I have to work with that a little bit. Okay, I have to work with that a little bit. So now I've got my background image set. Now I'm going to go up here to header. Okay, the background, I can either make it a color, which it is, or I can make it what? Transparent. Okay, now does everybody see that this isn't a transparent back? Now both of these are transparent right here. Does everybody see that when I went transparent that this did not go transparent? If you're using two images, okay, and both of these images have a transparent background, but if you're using two images, you will not have a transparent background. And let me show you here. Let me go to images. I'm going to remove this image. Okay, I'm going to save. I'm going to reload. Now I'm going to come back down here to my styles and colors. I'm going to reload. And you see how now that I've only got one image with a transparent background, not two, that I can see through my transparency. If you use two images, it's not a fluke, and they're both transparent, okay? What size resolution? Everything is 72 pixels. Everything. Don't use anything heavy. Okay? Everything is 72. Everything. And you've got restrictions on some of your upload sizes to, I think it's 5 megs or something like that. JPEG is the best to use. You want everything to load fast. Everything to load fast. My background tiles are usually about a 32 by 32, okay? And if I get them offline, you know, they're a little bit bigger, but a flat tile or something, just color gradient or something, is 32 by 32. And you have to watch it because sometimes you'll see where they're cut. So you have to be real careful with tiled images. There are programs that will build tiled images for you. I don't use them, but there are programs out there. So we've set our background color. Now I'm going to go to my button bar. Okay, this is the button bar here. What am I going to do with the button bar? Do not be afraid. You can change the text sizes. Okay, I usually keep mine around 15 or so. All right. Oops, too big. Let's go back to 12. Okay, we'll make it 12. You can change the border radius. All right. We'll set that at 15. Image dimensions for tiles, I use 32 by 32. 32 pixels by 32 pixels. But what you have to watch out for on tiled images for the background is if you're cutting them yourself, the edges are usually beveled, or you can see the shadow of the bevel of the tile. You're better off if you're going to use tiled images to find good tile images online. I mean, there's a million of them out there that's free. Text icon color. Now I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make my background color white. Okay. Now let me tell you something about the header. If you set your header colors, your colors will be saved throughout the entire process. If you don't do your header first, it does not save. You have to do your header first to set your color palette, okay? To set your color palette right here, if you do your header first, it will always save your colors, Okay. So I'm going to pull some colors out of here. I'm going to pull that yellow, and I'm going to set that color because I want that color later. Okay. Now I'm not going to use my icon color as that color. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to get this blue. Okay. And I'm just doing this so I can set my colors. And I'm going to make that blue, and I'm going to put that blue in there. Okay. A nice aqua blue. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make my icon colors black. Okay. So let me go ahead and put black in here. Oops. All right. Now I've made that black. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my border color. Oops. Let me get this yellow. I think I want to make my border color that yellow. Okay. And that looks pretty good. I'm going to bold it. Nah. Do I want to do italics? Nah. See, I can do this all day long, but I'm not going to mess up anything. Okay. But let me change the background color. Maybe I want this really pretty blue. Okay. Maybe I want to set a really pretty blue here. Okay. So there. Now I've got my button bar set up. Okay. So I'm going to save this. I save after everything, just in case. You never know. Now I'm going to come down and I'm going to do my footer bar. All right. And what do I want my footer bar to look like? I want it to look like the same thing. Okay. Remember, I used the tab bar, so I'm going to go to tab bar. And the icon colors is going to be black. Now, see, my color palette is set now. Everybody sees that my color palette is set, so I'm going to use black. Okay. Bam. And I'm going to use, oops, I did not save my title bar. Hang on just a second. Let me go back here. I must have turned on my title bar. No, it's hidden. I did not save it when I turned it back on. My tab bar, I'm going to make sure that's saved. Okay, now I'm going to come back down here. And I'm going to go to Styles and Colors. That's why it's important to save this stuff. There we go. Now, see, I had to go back and save it. I didn't save that a while ago. And I'm going to make my background color of my dilly deal there the same blue. Okay. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to make the border color my yellow. Now, did you notice that all my colors were saved in my palette bar, in my palette? Okay. Why? Because I started with the header. Okay. Now let's go to main links. I believe this is probably the place where everybody gets scared. They say, oh my gosh, I cannot do any of this. This is what I want you to do. I want you to start off using pre-made, and I'm going to show you the pre-mades I use. Somebody was asking about the big boxes today. The big boxes are actually in here, okay, if you want to use big boxes, all right? I personally don't use big boxes, but if you want to use big boxes, I use 3 palettes on here. I use this one, I use this one, and I use this one. So let's do this. Let's use this one for my beautiful coral reef app here. I'm going to go to settings. You see the colors right here on the left? Those are set under settings. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove those. Okay? I don't want those that color. I want to match my colors. I'm going to make those this beautiful yellow. Okay? It's very vibrant. It stands out. Okay? It stands out on my background. So I'm going to make those that color. Now, I'm going to set my borders all the way back because my radius is all the way back. You see this right here? This controls the size of the borders. Now, watch this. You see the border on the right side also? I'm going to put a small border on the right side. I'm going to put a small border on the top. And I'm going to put a small border on the bottom. Okay? Now, I want to show you something real quick. I'm going to do a top left radius. Bam. Okay? I'm going to do a bottom right radius. Bam. Now I'm starting to customize my buttons. All right. So I'm customizing my buttons. Now, what I want to do next is I'm going to come down here to icon content box. Now I'm going to do something special here. All right. I'm going to remove this background color completely. And I'm going to add this beautiful background color. Okay. And I'm going to go border size. Now watch this. You see my border? Now I'm going to put a complete border radius on there, and I'm going to make that a circle. All right. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to remove this color. And I'm going to add, let's add the yellow again, because I really like that yellow. Okay. Now you can see here that I've got my beautiful color set behind my icon. Did you see when I brought this radius down that it's transparent behind there so you can see through that? Really makes it look cool. Okay. So now I've got a transparency here on the four corners. I've got a radius set here on the upper left. I've got a radius set on the bottom right. So I like what I see. My colors are color coordinated with my app, and I'm done with that. The icon, I could do 100 million things with that. Okay, let's remove this, and I'm going to go with black. And the reason I'm going to go with black is why? Because I have black up here that matches my colors in my logo. Okay, so I've got really nice logo up here. I have a nice black background, and I only have a couple of things left to do now. I'm going to go to my content box. Now, I can do many things with my content box that I can do some stuff that's amazing. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this gray, and I'm going to make that content box black. Okay. Now I'm going to come down here and I'm going to look at the border left size, and I'm going to come in there with that, and I'm going to make a border bottom size, and I'm going to come in there at about 5, and I'm going to come up here, and you see this top left radius right here? I'm going to bring that all the way over. Okay. You see I'm putting some different geometry into my buttons. And the reason I do that, I'm huge on geometry. I want you to look at the fish, at the geometry in the fish. I want my geometry in my buttons to really match what my logo looks like. And I want my colors to match what my logos look like. And you're probably all sitting there thinking, oh my God, there's no way I can do this. All I'm doing is sitting here sliding these little toggle bars right here, these little bars. Okay. So I'm going to come down here, and this is the bottom right radius. I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to pull that up. Okay. And what I want to do with that to offset that is I'm going to make that, I'm going to make that white. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to dim the transparency on my black to say 40. Now you can see through the transparency. Okay. Let's see here. I want to get a little more vibrant color out of that. Nope. See, I'm not liking what I'm seeing there, so I can sit here and play with this all day long. Okay. Now I love that. Okay. Now I've got a little bit of offset over here on the right-hand side where you got a little transparency between the border here and the border here, and a little bit of transparency. So you've got some color matching, really looking good here. Okay. Your buttons match your buttons up here. Your icons match your icons here. You've got transparency here behind your radiuses. You brought your transparency down on your black. You've still got black, but you can see through it. I brought the vibrance out in the borders here and put some radius here to match up with the radius of the logo here. Okay, I've left this square right here just to give it some geometry and to give it some different angles. And I've redone, and I put some angle here with a little bit of transparency here. So it's looking good. And everything matches, and all the colors match up. Now, there is nothing difficult about what I'm doing. And with that said, get off the 1.0 apps and you can add $100 per app to your design fee. $100. Okay. So let me save this. All right. Now let me come down here to text. Now what I'm going to do is, because the text is white, I'm gonna center that up just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna move the padding over. I'm gonna move it to the right. Okay, you can see here it's center. You can left justify. I like to do left justify, but I like to move it over, and I like to increase the text size just a little bit. Okay, let's do it to 20. Let's do it to 20. Okay, text weight is bold. All right. Now my text stands out, okay, on the app with the background, with just enough black in the transparency to make the text stand out, okay? You've got some nice buttons there that look really nice, that match the background and the header image, okay? Really nice. Slide menu links, we're not going to worry about that. Why? Because we don't have a slide menu. Forms, if your form colors, okay, and let me show you. Let me go up here. Let me save this. Let me go to preview. Let me reload. Somebody asked this question the other day. What about the forms? Okay. If you go to join our list, and your colors, if you want to make this color black or you want to change the colors and the backgrounds, you do that under forms. 99.9% of the time, you don't have to change that. Okay. Text inputs, if it's white, you want to make sure it's done in black. You can change your divider colors. I usually 9 out of 10 times, I do absolutely nothing with this. Okay. But if you need to, this is where you do it at. Photo gallery, we don't have a photo gallery, so we don't need to set any colors up in the photo gallery. Social media. Everybody knows that this is a Facebook logo, and everybody recognizes those, so I'm going to turn that off. And I'll always make my icons social media colors. So just come down here to icon color. Okay, I turn my text off. This is the icon color. All right. And if you want to change the background, you can. You may want to change the background to the icon color and the icon to white, but that's pretty much how I do it right there. Okay. I'm going to save it. The only thing I have left to do, okay, is right here. Save to home screen triangle. Now, what I'm going to do is I really like that blue. And I really like this yellow, okay? And I'm going to save those, all right? I'm going to save this. Now that I've got my tab bar colors and everything done, I'm going to come up, and I'm going to turn off my footer, okay? On everything except what? The subpages. Reload. Save. All right, and it will be gone. And now I have my app built. Now, if I want to, this is your developer section. You see how my developer information doesn't stand out? Developer meaning the person that built the app, the company that built the app. Go into styles and colors. Go into developer text. Let me change that to, let me see what stands out. White, maybe. Yeah. Let me change it to white. Okay. Line text size. Develop by. Let me bump that up a little bit. Let me bump that a little bit because I want people to see it. It's bolded. Okay. Text decoration, I don't really need any. And there you got it. All right. I'll reload it. You see my tab bar is gone. My buttons are all here. Okay. And I have built my app. Very simple to do. There is nothing difficult about building a 2.0 app. Nothing at all. And I think we're afraid of it. You know, I think we're afraid of it. Any questions? Now's the time to ask the questions. I mean, throw it out there. This is very simple to do. Everybody on this call and everybody that has their business can do exactly what I just did. The problem is when you get to here, to styles and colors, you see all these buttons right here. You see all these tabs. You see all this stuff, and it scares you to death. Don't be afraid of it. Start at the top. Start with your colors, okay, in your header. That way, your color palette is set throughout the entire app. Everything. The tab bar, your colors here, set your colors not only for your tab. If you're using a tab bar on the front of the app, it sets the colors for the tab bar that's in your address section. Okay? So if those colors aren't changed and they're not what you want, and even though you're not using a tab bar here, that is an actual tab bar under addresses and maps, and you have to come here and change the colors on the tab bar. Okay? Any questions? Do you have the enterprise, not the enterprise, do you have the platinum program? You have to have the platinum program. You have to have the branded program to be able to have your developer name down here on the bottom. And that's clickable, okay? That's also clickable, and it gives you all your branded information. If you have the gold program, you don't have the branded package. And you also get 500 apps with the platinum. Thank you, Eddie. This is an actual app that I built for a company in Florida. Any more questions? Ask now, forever hold your peace. Not me, man. I love playing in here. I make a duplicate every so often just in case if you must. Yeah, just do it. You know, quit being afraid. I'm telling you, you guys do not understand how much money you're losing by not building a 2.0 app. It's an instant $100 development fee. Instantaneous. You go from $149 on a 1.0 to $249 overnight. Overnight, just by changing the app. Just by changing the app. Thank you, Todd. The only thing that keeps people from building this is this section right here. I know because I hear it. You know, they're scared of all these buttons. But it's like anything, and I'll use the bicycle analogy again. Start at the top, and if you don't like what you see, start over. I'm a color match person. I love my apps to look good, and I color match everything. Everything. And trust me, I got a call from a restaurant today, and I know I tell y'all all the time I don't do restaurants. Shaco Mako. And let me tell you something. The guy was ecstatic with his app. And he called to thank me for doing such a great job. He had the salesman call me, and he told me what a great job it was. And there's nothing any better. You know, I don't care what price you put on it. When a client calls you and tells you and thanks you for building a beautiful app, it makes you feel good, and it makes you want to build the next one twice as good. And let me tell you something else. And I'm going to show you real quick how quick I can change the look of this app. Icon content box. Just with this little change alone. Just with that little change in that app. I changed it that quick. You can, I'm telling you, I don't know how many, what the multiples are of how you can change the look of these apps, but it's phenomenal what you can do. I mean, with all the different radiuses and everything you can do and the different sizes, you do not have to build two apps that look the same. You do not. And guess what? I don't. I don't. No, 250, they're not going to blink an eye. 250, they're not going to blink an eye. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this replay will be, matter of fact, I think I've already put the link in the Instant App Wizard Facebook group. Do not be afraid of 2.0. Get off of 1.0. 2.0 is where it's at. It's going to sell you more apps. Your name will be absolutely the most wonderful thing in the world. Your company will be amazing because of what it's doing, and nobody out there can produce an app that looks this good. They're not going to. Use your creative, artistic side. Now, let me tell you, I can't build a stick man. I can't. I can't draw. I'm not an artist at all. This platform allows me to bring out the artistic side of me that I did not even know I had, because I can slide those little sliders around. So if I can do this, I can promise you, you can do it, because I'm telling you, I can't even write. I scribble my name. So y'all saw what I did, okay? You saw what I did. I can promise you, you can do this. So I don't want to see any more 1.0 apps being posted in the Facebook group. Get where the money's at and go with the 2.0. That's where it's at. How many of you like this app that I just built? How many of you like this app right here that I just built? Oh, I forgot there's a minute and a half delay. I've asked that twice, like I'm waiting on somebody to answer. I can tell you, it's a beautiful app. How many of you could sell an app that looks like that? Everybody on this call. Everybody on this call can build an app and sell them that look just like this, without question. This background right here was a picture from their website. Their logo, I actually did some work on it. I used the tool that removes the background, and it works. It works. I want to thank everybody. I hope tonight's training opened your eyes to 2.0 and showed you how simple it was to do. I hope working on that left side, okay, that left side showed you that there's nothing to be afraid of. That you can touch it, you can play with it, you can do anything you want to with it, and you're not going to do it. Where did I get the Facebook share button? I'll post that link in the Facebook group. Actually, if you'll let me do this in the first thing in the morning, I'll make a little video to show y'all exactly how to use that Facebook share button. All that is a created link. Okay? That's all that is a created link. I want to thank everybody for coming out. I want to thank you for an awesome training. This video will be posted, and I'll make sure that we post it up, and that you need to copy. You need to follow it step by step. Watch over my shoulder and sit there and do this and build this exact app. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to upload the I'm not sure if you can download. I'm not sure how to do it, but I'll figure it out. I'm going to give you guys the header image. I'm going to give you the background image. I love you too, BK. You're my buddy. Give your wife a big hug and birthday kiss for me, would you? You've got a beautiful wife, and I'm going to tell you what. You're a lucky man. And I know it was her birthday, and all the awesome things you said to her, BK. You are a man's man, and I appreciate you. But I'll upload this background and this logo. You can build this exact same app. Look over my shoulder, and it will be a great practice for you. Thanks, everybody. Good night. God bless. And I will see you next Wednesday and in the Facebook group. I love you all very, very, very much. Thanks, everybody.